super honored to say and blessed to say that she spent a significant period of time with Turning Point USA, and now she is fighting for our values wonderfully in Congress. Anna, welcome to the program. Anna, you've made some headlines, and I want to read this on air, where you said that the whistleblower against Hunter Biden is afraid to be disclosed because he or she might be murdered or killed. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I was actually, first of all, thank you for having me back on, Charlie, and appreciate everything you're doing with Turning Point. But aside from that, so we were in a briefing yesterday with Representative Comer, who's the chairman of House Oversight. And ultimately what had ended up happening is the FBI refused to give over an unclassified document that had the name of the human source, which ultimately was responsible for bringing forward the information on Joe Biden. Information that had stated that Joe Biden received a $5 million transaction from a foreign national while vice president of the United States. So that's one, public corruption. Two, as House Oversight, it is our job to investigate this, and I believe that this is grounds for impeachment, Charlie. But then also, number three, the FBI then proceeded to state to Comer the reason why they couldn't release the document to him or the name of the informant and human source was because of the fact that they believed that this individual would be killed if unmasked. And so I'm sitting there, and the rest of my colleagues were there. Jim Jordan was there, Comer was there, Byron Donalds was there, all of the staff, and you're hearing this, and it sounds like something you'd see at, like, in a mob movie or something in a James Bond film, but unfortunately this is U.S. politics. Yeah. And so we're absolutely going to get to the bottom of it. But on Thursday, we're now going to be holding a hearing to mark up the bill to hold the director of the FBI in contempt of Congress. And from what I'm hearing, from what Representative Comer has stated that he's working on with Speaker McCarthy, that's likely going to go to the floor. And if this guy does not hand over the information that we're requesting, it's possible that he could be held in criminal contempt and go to jail.
So, Anna, who are they afraid is going to murder who? So is Biden going to murder this person? Is it going to be a Democrat operative? And, the media is making fun of all this, like, let's just be honest, okay? That it might not be common, but it happens, okay? Where you have powerful people that hire hitmen are a real part of society, okay? So you say the FBI is afraid that their informant will be killed if unmasked. Who are they afraid is going to do the killing?
I wasn't there to hear that, and so I don't know the context of who they were implying, but I think that it's pretty safe to say that apparently the information is so good and credible, information that I want to remind the listeners that they had previous to 2020. Okay, this goes back to the Obama administration, that they have credible fears that this individual will be killed. And I just want to talk about the credibility of this witness. This is not just, some schmuck off the streets. This guy is, or man or woman has been with the FBI for over 10 years as a human source and has been paid over six figures for information that they brought forward going back to the Obama administration. So to be clear, the FBI is basically stating to Congress that they have credible fears that this individual will be killed if unmasked. And this is the same FBI, mind you, that has a separate ongoing investigation where there is a mole that is leaking information to Hunter Biden, and the mole has a code name, One Eye. So it's like this whole thing, the reason why we have to hold the FBI accountable is because, as we're seeing, there's clearly corruption.
So what is this One Eye thing? I don't understand. I mean, it's obviously not Dan Crenshaw. So who else could be this informant? Is this person have an eye patch or something? No, I don't understand why. What is the thing? And by the way, I said it's not Dan Crenshaw. I'm confused.
I have no idea who the individual is. The FBI has no idea who the individual is. That's just, I guess, information that they've picked up on sourcing. But this individual is a mole within the FBI that is leaking information to Hunter Biden about his active investigation, from what we're being told.
But is this, are they doing that in a pejorative way, or is this, so Hunter Biden's source is someone that only has one eye? I can't imagine, that should narrow it down, right? Just go into the FBI and find people wearing eye patches or something?
No, I think it's just a code name, honestly. I don't think that it is probably anything descriptive. I think that it's just a code name that they use for this individual. But yes, there's apparently a mole in the FBI that's leaking information to Hunter Biden.
Okay, so how is this? Is this a separate line then than the IRS whistleblower? What is the latest on that in regards to blowing the whistle on Hunter Biden's special treatment from the IRS?
So, I mean, there's multiple whistleblowers that have come forward, Charlie, so many to the point of, I mean, we literally just had Representative Comer state, and then on the 30th, the Israeli intelligence officer that was working with a Chinese company actually came out to say that he was in hiding because the DOJ cooked up charges against him for bringing forward information on the Biden family and their illegal business dealings. And they're now charging him as an international arms dealer. So there's many whistleblowers that have come forward. On the IRS whistleblower, I will have to double check, but what I can tell you is there's multiple. The one that I am most concerned about, though, is the one that the FBI has, because the information that the FBI has, I believe, is credible grounds for impeachment. And that $5 million transaction, that testimony from that human source, I mean, my goodness, Charlie, that means that this president is guilty of public corruption and bribery.
Yeah. So then what is the timeline here, right? I mean, this is so much. Usually the cover up is the crime that you're able to pinpoint, right? So where are we at right now with kind of pinpointing exposure of this? And meanwhile, the Department of Justice, just so everyone's clear, we've been warning about this, and Citizen Kane, the Department of Justice is likely to indict Donald Trump any day now. This looks like it's happening in real time. So, Anna, are we really going to see Donald Trump indicted on paperwork stuff while you have this smoking gun international bribery scheme? Is it fair to say that Joe Biden took cash from a foreign country illegally?
Yes, I think it's very fair based on the statements made by the FBI, the documentation that the FBI has, as well as the fact that the FBI admitted that this is a document that is not made up. So the FBI actually made a statement about this document. House Judiciary is working on this. House Oversight is working on this. I think that this development, I think the fact that the FBI director, based on what Comer's stating and what Speaker McCarthy is now doing, is very likely to be charged with contempt of Congress, throws a wrench in things, because everything that they're accusing Trump of is what they are guilty of in the Biden administration. So when people are kind of creating a scene, you know, to distract people, you have to look at what's really happening behind the scenes, and that's what we're seeing taking place right now. I will say that just like what had happened with President Trump's initial indictment, because there was such a public outcry about it, it changed things. And I think the American people, instead of getting fatigued and saying, you know, there's nothing that I can do, I disagree with that. And I think that that's a defeatist perspective. There is something that you can do. You can get involved, and you can call your representatives, and you can essentially put pressure on them to do the right thing. And that's really what we need them to do right now. And so we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks or so. I know that Chairman Comer, in meeting with us, the House GOP members of Oversight yesterday, came up with a good game plan, and that the fact that the Speaker supports it is going to be pretty instrumental. So on Thursday, it should be a pretty big deal for House Oversight, and you'll see that contempt of Congress charge being brought to the floor.
Against Christopher Wray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the problem is that it's just going to then go to him, so he won't indict himself. But I do appreciate the effort. It's not as if Christopher Wray is going to put forward charging documents against himself. So Anna, I suppose the final question I have on this is what is the likely scenario? I mean, it looks as if this is an opening, an opportunity for the deep state to unload on Biden to create some political flex or flexibility to then go after Trump, to say, oh, look, we go after both sides. Are you starting to see any inclination that Democrats are starting to jump ship on Biden to go look for other alternatives for 2024?
No, in fact, the Democrat argument for this whole whistleblower informant situation coming forward, they're saying that it's just a made-up conspiracy theory, and they're actually trying to say that it's Rudy Giuliani, and it's not Rudy Giuliani at all. And so they're, if anything, doubling down on Biden. But I think really the more important question is, does the Republican Party have the stomach to go forward with impeaching based on the evidence that we have? And I think that that's a question that is probably going to be answered in the next few weeks, because from what I'm seeing, Charlie, from the amount of evidence that's actually been brought forward with the bank transactions, now with this, the subpoenaed bank records, I mean, I think that we have more than enough information. The only other thing is we need two witnesses to go on record, and that's why it's so incredibly important that we get this informant's name.
Anna, Paulina, thank you for joining us. I know you have to rejoin a House Oversight Committee or some committee hearing, so thank you so much, and we're going to stay on this, and hopefully we'll find out who this one-eye guy is. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thanks, Charlie.
Okay, I want to tell you about COVID tax relief.